welcome to my channel. Marina here, and as always it is a pleasure to welcome you to another video. If it's your first time here, welcome. Where have you been? Please hit the subscribe button and join the family. To the returning subscribers, always so nice to have you guys come back here. First of all, let me just apologize because it seems like it is becoming a habit for me to post the videos on Mondays, but here's what I'm finding, guys. I find that it has gotten a lot more convenient to record videos on Sundays as against Saturdays. So please, when next you don't see a video from me on Sunday, just check back on Monday. We'll most likely will be there. Like the way you guys are seeing this now, just the things that I have my hands in at this moment has made it a bit more difficult to record my videos during the week or on Saturday. That's why you're seeing the videos on Mondays, because I'm recording them on Sundays, okay? Please pardon me, bear with me, this phase will soon pass. You can already tell from the title of this video what I'm going to be talking about today, and for some reason, I have struggled with whether to have this conversation or not have this conversation. And then I got a DM that I'd like to read here, and I have permission, the permission of the person who sent the DM. I'm not going to be providing any identifiers, no name, no handles, but I have their permission to go ahead and read the DM on YouTube. So here goes. Hi Marina, I'm a subscriber on YouTube and just started following you on Instagram. Thank you very much. I have consumed most of your content on YouTube, and one thing I admire about you, among many others, is the way you speak. Your diction and grammar, in brackets. So I was pleasantly surprised to hear you say you grew up in Benin. For context, I was born and raised in Warri, in a household where speaking Pidgin English was prohibited. So for non-Nigerians, Pidgin English is like a variation of English that we use in Nigeria, okay? Where Pidgin English was prohibited, so for most of my childhood, I didn't really know how to speak Pidgin. And when I tried to speak it with my peers, they always laughed at me because it was horrible. After uni, I moved to Benin and started working. Because of the nature of my job and by association, I became a pro. So I think she means pro in Pidgin. And now my English is horrible. I'll be moving to Canada next month, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, probably in a video on YouTube, on the subject of the highly debated topic of us switching up our accent to be able to communicate better with Canadians. You guys, when I saw this DM, I had a mix of different emotions. At first it was funny, at first it was like confusing, and then it became a like, what exactly is going on? And not at the person, it's the idea that for you to be able to communicate with Canadians, you have to switch up your accent. The reason why I felt that is because this is not the first time that I've had that conversation about accents. In fact, let me start my story from the beginning. Because some of you here on this YouTube, those of you who come to my DMs to come and harass me and ask me why 8 years later my accent hasn't changed, you people know yourselves. Sometimes you are the ones that put pressure on us to now come and be what we are not. But let me not get ahead of myself. When I moved here 8 years ago, I did not for once did it cross my mind that something was wrong with the way I spoke English. For context, Nigeria was colonized by England. I have spoken English my whole life. I don't speak any other language as fluently as I speak English. I grew up in Benin, like the DM said. Benin is in the south region of Nigeria. I grew up speaking English with an undertone of a Benin accent. For those of you who are familiar with Benin and how English is spoken there, you will understand what I mean. Like if you listen closely enough, you will hear that Benin intonation when I speak. I knew that from Nigeria. When I came here, you know how everybody sounds the same, that you don't think anything is different with the way you sound until you are now thrown in the midst of people who sound very different from you. That was my reality when I came to Canada. It now became a little more apparent that, oh, okay, my accent is strong. At no point did this bother me. At no point did my accent or how I sound, did it bother me. I started to work. I started with school. I did not get any feedback that people had a hard time understanding me in class with my conk Nigerian accent, with my Benin undertone. Nobody complained that they had a problem understanding my accent. I did communications in school. I passed all of them. All my presenting and public speaking assessments and assignments I did in school, I passed all of them. When I started working, I came to the realization by myself that there were some changes that I needed to make. And it was not my accent that was the problem. The average Nigerian is a fast talker. Like if you gather Nigerians, we're very expressive and our emotions are expressed when we talk. So we will talk fast and our tone is usually very high pitched. I'm not saying this is how every Nigerian sounds. I'm saying a lot of us. And for me, I talk fast. When I'm excited, overly excited about something, my tone is elevated. So imagine me talking fast with an elevated tone. When I got to work, I quickly was able to read the room and realize that, okay, there is a way people communicate in this team. All of the teams that I've worked in, the first thing that I do is to just pipe down, read the room, and be able to understand, okay, what is obtainable here? What is the preference? What's the communication style? What's the team building style? Like I studied all of those things and realized that the pace at which I spoke was too fast and the tone with which I spoke was almost like I was yelling at people. And for my very first job, I needed to answer the phone. Or inquiries would be transferred to me and I needed to speak to people over the phone. And I would get I'm sorry, could you slow down? Or could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. And then when I raise my voice, it's almost like I'm shouting. So the adjustment that was in my face that I needed to make was to slow down when I spoke, especially when I was speaking to people who were non-Nigerians, and then to manage the tone of my voice so that I do not yell at people or that I don't come across like I'm yelling at them. So those were the adjustments that I needed to make. But to talk about my accent in itself, I have never been in any position, any role, any previous job or current job where somebody has said they have a problem understanding what I'm saying because of my accent. So that you need to switch up your accent so that you are better able to communicate with Canadians, I'm going to stand here today and say big no. Do you hear me when I speak? If the answer is yes, we're fine. Do you understand what I'm saying when I speak? If the answer is yes, we are fine. But to say that I have to sound like something that is not natural to me or something that will not flow freely from me because I'm trying to communicate better with Canadians, I would never do that. And I don't see any reason why anybody should do that. We have immigrants in Canada who are from countries where English is not their first language or English is not their official language, and we work with them just fine. There are other people who are from other countries where their accents are way stronger. We deal with them and we understand them. So as a Nigerian, there's absolutely nothing wrong with our accent. Nothing is wrong with it. So don't let anybody mislead you that you have to switch up or sound like what you're not so that you'll be able to adjust to Canadians. Coming here to learn how things are done in Canada is an add-on to the way of life that you already know, not a replacement. Because that's what it sounds like. If I'm going to now give up everything, that makes me unique as Nigerian. I like it when I'm talking to people and they're like, oh, I love the way you sound. Where are you originally from? Even though sometimes, depending on the context and how that question is posed, it can be microaggressive. But I take every opportunity to let people know that, oh yes, I was born and raised in Nigeria. That's where I'm from. One of the times where I told somebody, I was born and raised in Nigeria, the person was like, oh, your English is so good. How long have you been here? I'm like, actually, I have spoken English my entire life. And that opened up a whole different conversation because the level of ignorance that I experienced, because people truly, sometimes genuinely don't know these things. Some other times it's just, I don't know. We're not going into that part of the microaggression and the display of ignorance that we can experience sometimes, but that's not what we're talking about in this conversation. But I'm saying that for me, my accent has always been an opener. Every time it was pointed out, it was an opener to bigger conversations that ended up with me educating people. When I talk about all of this, I'm trying to paint a picture of I have gone to school in Canada more than once. I have had more than one employer. And at no point in all of these experiences has anybody pointed to me that I have a problem understanding what you are saying because you have an accent. At the end of the day, we all have an accent, including the Canadians. Everybody has an accent. You do not have to switch up who you are just so that they will understand you at work. You don't have to. Like I said, I had to tone down my pace and I had to tone down the tone so that it is so that I'm able to efficiently do my work and communicate appropriately with the people that I'm working with. If you are in that position and you need to make that change, by all means, but switching up your accent, there's no need for that. Guys, funny enough, the people who have put the most pressure on me about my accent are other Nigerians. The most number of times I have been asked, oh, why don't you have a Canadian accent yet, has come from Nigerians. It's on YouTube in the comment section. When it first started, I just thought, okay, is this person trying to be funny? Okay, that's cute. Ha ha ha. We're being funny. And then it started becoming recurrent. Some of the comments I removed from the video, so you might not see them. My older videos, like I think the first year especially, was where I saw it the most, where people will come and say, you've been in Canada for so long, you don't have an accent. Other sets of people come and say, I like the fact that you have retained your originality and you're not trying to sound so Canadian. So it was like, okay, what do you people want? Like, one set of people are waiting for me to come up here with a Canadian accent, and another set of people are saying, I like the originality. That's where I've seen the most pressure. And I don't understand it. Like, why? Why does it bother you? And it's funny because it's not like I'm doing anything to retain one accent or drop another. I just open my mouth and this is how I sound is what I hear. Like, I'm not trying. I told you that this conversation triggered me. Can you guys see why? It's annoying. It's really annoying. And I feel like a bit of it stems from a place of a lack of identity. Like, what is it about who you are, the original version, the authentic version of you, that bothers you so much that you're very quickly or so quickly willing to give that up because you want to be something to somebody else? Why? Why are you so willing to give it up? So that thing that you do when you pick up the phone or you're talking to a black person and you see a white person and almost immediately the accent switches, why do you do it? Is it not stressful? Like, that burden that you are carrying, is it not heavy? For you to just be switching across accent because you want to. Why? Why are you doing it? Help me understand. For those of you who are moving here, look, my advice to you is make the changes that you need to make so that you can communicate appropriately. Your goal should be to communicate clearly in a way that conveys the message that you're trying to pass. And it's not a function of your accent. It's not a function of the accent that you use to pass that message. Speak clearly, be audible, pass the message. That's all that you owe the people that are around you. Let everybody just be comfortable letting their true selves shine through. Retain your authentic self. There's no competition for first to change accent. So that extra burden, this is my person that sent this DM. Please don't take on that extra burden of trying to switch up who you are because you think Canadians won't understand you. I'm very comfortable with my authentic Nigerian accent. Please and thank you. And for those of you who send me those DMs to say, why don't you have an accent? It's okay. People should stop. It's okay. The point is made. It's not funny anymore. I don't want any accent, okay? The way I sound is fine. And for all of you who are looking to make that move soon, just know that if you want to start on this fake note, it is a long time for you to sustain that type of fake life. It is too long a time for you to want to start like that. So let your true self, let your authentic self shine through. That's the one that's more beautiful, okay? For the people who have moved, what's your experience? Did you have to switch up your accents, or did you have to tone anything down? Did you have to learn new ways of speaking just because you want to communicate with Canadians? That's how she put it in quotes. If that's what your experience has been like, we'll be more than happy to hear from you. Please share that in the comments because I'm curious too. And those of you that have accent, please share with us, where did you find the accent? Where you buy them? Show us. Yeah? Thank you. T for thanks. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this answered the question and passed the message, even though I try to keep it light-hearted. I hope you learned from this. If you did, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done that. And until I come your way in the next one, it's your girl, as always, Marina, saying thank you and have an awesome day. Bye, guys.